Planning a wedding comes with timelines, trends, expectations, and a whole lot that couples never see coming. We're two wedding planners pulling back the curtain on what really happens behind I Do. Each week on Behind I Do, we bring you real talk about real weddings. Timelines, trends, the wins, and the what ifs. From the smoothest silk celebrations to the did that actually just happen moments, we're sharing the stories, lessons, and insider knowledge that help couples plan with confidence, and maybe even laugh along the way. Whether you're a bride, groom, vendor, or wedding lover at heart, this is your backstage pass to the world of weddings, told candidly, graciously, and with the expertise only seasoned planners can offer. Grab your coffee, your planning binder, or your confetti, and join us Behind I Do.
Episode 6, building the perfect vendor team and how to choose people you actually trust.
Super important.
Super important. Today we're talking about vendors, which are one of the most important parts of your wedding team because they
make or break it, really.
100%. A few in particular, we believe, make or break good weddings. But we'll start with kind of some things to look out for with, like, we like to say red flags, green flags of vendors and kind of what that looks like.
Yeah. I mean, response time, I think, is like a big thing. I mean, we at least hear it, like, as far as like coordinators or planners go, like some brides who are like the only one who's like responded. Or like I am very, which Allie and I hate the term of like boundaries. Like I think as an entrepreneur and as like Allie always said, being in customer service, like there aren't boundaries. And I mean that, I mean, I have a family, I have a personal life. So obviously there are boundaries, but like when we get an inquiry, like if they don't hear from me within like an hour, like
I would say Jaden's dead.
Yeah. Like I'm in the hospital. So which, you know, in some couples, like it's not a big deal. And I'm not saying every vendor should respond that time, but that in that timely manner. But that's important to me. And I think it's important to a lot of couples. Like how quickly do they respond to you? Does it take a week for them to get back to you? Like that to me would be a huge red flag. Like you obviously either don't take your business seriously or like you don't want my money. So, or I mean, it could be a green flag, you know, if they're like me. 45 or that, I don't know, some brides might be like, God, that's aggressive.
She's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, making sure that it kind of aligns with who you are as a person. We always talk about how different Jaden and I are. And I'm like, if I hear back from you within, you know, a week, you are my kind of person. Like, it's all good. And Jaden's like, if I don't hear from you by end of business day today, like, you're dead to me.
It drives me nuts. Yeah, that's true.
So I think it's obviously like up to you, but finding someone that works with you.
Yeah.
Our next favorite thing to do is check out people's Google reviews. We are huge Google reviewers in life. Like if you're going to a hotel or an Airbnb, you always read the reviews when you're online shopping. Like it's just so important to see what other people had to say. And in general, you get a good spread. I think every once in a while, some people have
some crazy people.
Yeah, there are some crazy people and like maybe a crazy, you know, one-off experience. So I don't think it's like, you know, you need to take it for 100% what it says. But I do think you can get a good overview of how people, and reviews online, but also reviews in person. Like it's always a good idea if they don't have a lot of online reviews to say, hey, like, is there a few clients that worked with you last season that I can talk to? And just getting like a personal review too would be a good thing to do.
Super important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I also said too, like, I mean, again, I say that, I feel like I say this all the time, but just like you should interview 3 people per area, like 3 planners, 3 DJs, 3 photographers. I mean, photographers I feel like are a little different because it's like style for sure, but just like getting to know their personality. But I also think like confidence is a thing. I mean, I think there's a line between like confidence and like cockiness or arrogance. Yeah, for sure. Like, but I think you want vendors who are like confident in what they do and like feel like they are knowledgeable on what they're doing and like that can handle anything. So I think that's like super important. And I don't know, maybe you really want like a super cocky DJ. That could be like your thing too. I don't know, but I just think someone who's like, you know, it just made me think of like this one time that a bride met with another planner and then met with us. And she just was like, I just felt like you seemed like so much more knowledgeable and everything. And it just made me feel like I just instantly felt better after talking to you. And I think that's how it should feel when you talk to vendors. Like, like you instantly are just like, oh my God, that just was so easy. I just am so excited.
And you can tell that they like have experience with what you're asking for. I think even I'm thinking of like a caterer, and it's like, if you want 250 people at Deer Flat Ranch with a plated dinner, like you need to ask them, have you worked in this venue, in this space? Like what?
And done a plated for 250
Yeah. Do you feel
people.
confident in being able to execute that well, or things like that? Because those are all like circumstantial questions that like they may feel confident doing a plated dinner for 250, but when you start asking like questions about your day more in depth and logistics, like you will also want them to be confident in that. Oh yeah, we have done a 350 person wedding at Deer Flat. It went great. These are the things that we did to make sure that it was done well.
Yeah.
Something like that. So definitely looking for that. Kind of like we talked about, seeing if you can get a personal review or if your friends or family have used them. That's huge. And that's kind of how it's so fun when we get to work with like sisters or friends, bridesmaids.
It's where we've gone through like a couple friend groups, which is kind of, so it's like, then like the past couple that we did their wedding is at this wedding and they're at this wedding, and it's just kind of fun to see. It's fun.
And even at Jaden's wedding, like her DJ was like from a friend's wedding, and like how you get to know people, and it's so fun. And then it's even more fun for your vendor team because they see all their past couples at your wedding. So definitely a good way to figure out.
And then they can give you like honest feedback of like, this is what it was like working with them.
Totally.
So like, it's cool to have that experience.
Yeah. And then our last kind of best way to find a vendor would be checking with your vendors that you've already booked. Like, does your venue or does your coordinator or planner have a preferred vendor list? After 8 years going on, we have vendors that we absolutely love to work with, and we will shout their names from the rooftops. And we always tell clients that, like, please text us, call us, like whoever you're thinking about hiring, and we would love to give you our input.
I mean, like Ali said, it makes all of our lives so much easier because like we work better together. We know, like when we write a timeline and we know it's like, you know, it's like Horsewood's catering, you know, Jesse's DJing. It's like all these things, like Ben setting up the dance floor, like Courtney J is photographing. Like, it's just like, I'm like, I don't have to worry about any of that.
Like we know they're going to show up.
Like I don't have to be responsible for any of these vendors.
Yeah. Do what they said they would do. It's amazing.
Not to say that you can't hire new vendors. I'm not, like, we're very open. The only one we're a little skeptical on is like new DJs. That's kind of where we're like, again, not that we won't work with them. It's just like we said, as long as you've done your research and like say we don't know them, but you've done all these things and you've like, you know, they have good response time. You had a conversation with them. There was good vibes, good confidence. You had a friend who hired them. Like, if you feel good and you've done your research, like, we're all for it.
Yeah. DJs are our one red flag of what will make or break a wedding experience for you and your guests, because they are the only person that really like explicitly talks to your guests for an extended amount of time. So even if you had, you know, a quirky officiant or like it's short and it's sweet, it's over in 30 minutes, like it's not that big of a deal. But when you have someone who is literally directing your guest experience from the time that those people arrive until a send-off and it's not going well, it leads to a wedding that does not feel good when you leave. And so you want to explicitly interview your DJs. Hopefully you've seen them at a wedding before, or you've been able to read 1,000 good reviews of them, because they will determine.
Yeah. I mean, their personality, it's like, I mean, it does matter. Like, if it doesn't match your vibe, like, honestly, I did a tour with a couple yesterday and we were talking about that, about DJs. And they had said that they just went to a wedding and they were just like describing him to me. And I just was like, but it's good for us. Cause then I'm like, okay, like, we're not going to refer, like, I'll pick other DJs that don't have that big of a personality. They are just, they don't like the DJs that have big personalities, that talk too much. Like, the groom was just like, it just makes, it's cringy to me. So I do think, but then some couples love it. So I just think that it's so important to, like we said, like, interview them and get to know their personality and their style.
And know you as a couple. Like, what do we want? Do we want like a professional MC that comes in a suit and tie and basically is behind the scenes, but is very quietly like executing all this? Or do we want it to be like a Vegas rave? And we dance until 3 a.m. And like, that's why we have people are coming. So both are great in their own ways, but knowing what feeling you want at your own wedding
is important.
Is very important.
You don't want to get cringed out at your wedding.
No. Like Jen said, we always recommend you to interview 3 people. And everything. I mean, we can think of food vendors, venues,
balloons,
cake,
photo booth,
like all of it. Everyone's going to have such different pricing structure. They're going to have different inventory. Like when you think of rental companies like Idaho Tents and Events, Flying China, Linen and Loot, all these people have extremely different inventories. So it's good to look at all of them and see kind of what you think. And if you're type A, like create a spreadsheet and just have a few things to compare them against, because that will definitely help you. And you'll know typically when you've found your right any vendor.
Yeah.
You're right, DJ, you're right. It just feels right. And you all can kind of agree. You can see their value and why they're charging what they charge. You're like, this will be a great fit.
Right.
It helps you move forward.
For sure. And that's sometimes why we say, like, don't let pricing instantly deter you, because you just never, unless it's like outrageous, for sure. I mean, like, let's say DJ's charging $10,000. I totally would understand why you're like, I'm not even going to talk to them. Like, but you know, if it's in that 3 to 5 range, like, just have a conversation. Yeah. It's like Allie said, you might see the value in like, oh, wait, like it's worth, you know, budgeting a little more for this vendor because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, like maybe the DJ includes a dance floor and you didn't realize that's like a $800 to $1,000 on top that if you go with another DJ. So you start to realize these things. Oh, like I see why they charge this, because they come with more.
Yeah. And like, I mean, we've kind of talked about it too, but just knowing your vendors, your person, is like the conversation flows. I mean, I think that's like, we're the same way with couples. Like when I do all our inquiry calls and it's like, I get off the phone and I'm just like, I love them. Like, not to say I don't say that about everyone. I mean, I like a lot of our couples, but like you can just tell, like you just have like a good, like you both are just like, you have things in common, like you're similar, like it just flows well. And I think, again, it's really important for, like, I always tell couples, like your coordinator or planner, your photographer, and your DJ are like 3 people that are gonna, I mean, like Allie said, the DJ talks a lot during your wedding, and then your photographer and your planner are going to spend so much time with you on the day of your wedding. So if you don't like their personality, like it's not mean to just be like, it just wasn't a right fit. But like if, like I tell people all the time that even like the groom or the other significant other both need to meet the DJ, the photographer, and the coordinator, because there was a wedding that I did that the groom had never met the photographer. And I'm not joking. Like halfway through photos, he pulls me aside and he's like a big dude and was like, Jaden, keep her away from me. And I'm like, and he was talking about the photographer and I'm like, I can't, but he drove her nuts.
Is to be with you all day.
So I just think it's super important to have both of you, not just one of you, like both of you like them. And maybe not, you know, maybe one of you loves them more than the other, but as long as you can both tolerate them, that sounds bad, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, get along with them for a 12-hour day. Think of it that way. If you could go to work with them for 12 hours,
because
it'll be a good,
like that. There's nothing worse than you're like, gosh, my planner's so annoying. Like, we don't want to annoy you. So yeah, those are people that you want to definitely make sure are a good fit for the day. For sure.
Another thing we kind of wanted to touch on that's big, and we kind of talked about the beginning response times, but communication styles really matter. And everyone's communication in their vendor roles is going to vary, because certain people like us can talk to you throughout your entire wedding, you know, maybe a year or so of your process, and we will communicate via email or text or anything like that, whatever you need. Whereas like you're going to have some vendors, say catering, that you have to deal with like the month of the wedding. And those are going to be like last minute communications, like what's your final head count, those sort of things. So I think knowing that you're going to be communicating with all these people throughout the time and making sure that it's a good fit, and then having those conversations early on when you're interviewing, how do you prefer to be communicated with? Are you someone who I can text, I can call? Do you prefer emails? You know, how long should I expect you to respond? There are vendors that my brides have wanted to literally cancel their contracts with because they will not respond within 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And that's alarming for that client. And that's like good to know going into it. It's
alarming to me.
It's alarming to all of us, but it should be alarming to you. But it's like something that you want to know, like, hey, Jen, how long should I expect? And if you don't hear from her in that time frame, that's just a good thing to know in the beginning and not be, I feel like a lot of brides and grooms feel like they're bothering the vendor, and that's like you should never
Shouldn't
feel
be
that way.
Yeah.
You should be able to talk to them as often as you want, and like setting that precedence up front.
And that expectation of like, hey, I am a type A person. So like, I want to be responded to within 24 hours. Like, I just think making sure your vendors are aware of that. So because some vendors, like Ali said, are more laid back and don't get back to you within, it takes them a couple days, like, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I think knowing both sides and understanding like, okay, this couple is like, wants me to be like, so they're aware of like, they want me to respond quickly.
Yeah.
But also then them telling you like, I will do my best, but typically it's 48 hours or whatever. Just like really being transparent on both sides.
Yeah. Or if I hired a vendor and she said, hey, I only check my emails every 2 weeks or whatever it is. Yeah. And you're like, okay, at least I know that.
Right.
So when I email her, make sure I email her 2 weeks ahead of when I need her to respond.
Right.
So
or
like,
don't book that vendor if
it bothers you.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yes. Another big thing that we thought we kind of dive through is like kind of things to ask vendors, which obviously there's so much. And some of our full plans, especially typically if we do like venue walkthroughs, like we go with them, floral designs and stuff, like we're typically on the call, stuff like that. But things you can kind of think about as you're kind of going and meeting all these people. I mean, venues, a big one is like access time and out time. Like what time can you get on property? What time do you have to be off property? And even within that, like what time does music have to be off? And a lot of it around here is like 10 and then we have to be out by 11. So just knowing those things. Another big thing is like, are tables and chairs included? Like that is like a huge one that I think most couples just assume like, oh, they're going to have tables and chairs, which another one, which has gotten better. A lot of couples are like, think venues have linens. And I'm like, that's, at least around here, that's not a thing.
Yeah, maybe 2 of our venues, unless you do a resort style venue, you're not going to get included linen and plateware.
Yeah.
Just doesn't happen here.
Just things like hidden fees or like a damage deposit, like what's kind of involved in that. Is there somebody who's on site the day of the wedding so that like if there's questions or issues, like how do you access that person? Some venues, which again, this could be another hot take, you don't get access to everything. And I just disagree with that. I think if you are a venue, you have a bridal suite, you have a groom suite, it should all be included. Like there shouldn't be like, well, you get this part of the venue, but if you want to add on the bridal suite, it's $500. Like what are you doing with the bridal suite? Like it's not going to be used by anybody else. Like I just think have it all included. I just think for couples too who are going around all these venues, meeting all these vendors, and there's all these like a la carte options. It's just like confusing. It's overwhelming. And I think a lot of the times with our couples, it like deters them from wanting to book a wedding at venues like that. Cause they're just like, oh, it's an upcharge for the bridal suite. It's an upcharge for tables and chairs. Like, it's just like, just include that in your pricing. Just like increase your pricing to have it all be included. So those are things to like ask. Are there any vendor restrictions? Like if it's an outside, can we have a tent? Like, can it be staked? Like all those things. Can we do the rehearsal the day before, or does it have to be like Thursday? Kind of those things. And then some venues around here have like overnight access, which is kind of cool. Like you can stay the night. So, I mean, I think those are some of the basic venue questions to kind of think about. And just like, looking at venues, like especially around here, if you're wanting outside, like what's plan B?
Yeah.
Like
we can get rain or snow pretty much every month of the year.
Yeah.
Okay. Photographers and also I feel like we set these up in kind of the order that we in general want you to book. Like, you should start with just as a vendor hot tip, you should start with your venue because you got to have a date before you can really book. The only other person you can potentially book is a planner that has a lot of accessibility. But if we were a smaller team and you were like, I'm going to try to book you, but I don't have my date, it'd be a little hard. So picking your date is super important. And then we always say any vendor that like you're hiring them because of their personality or their talent, like them, you should start with them. Like photo, DJ, hair and makeup, like a catering team, like Horsewood can send out 6 crews in a day. Like the food's going to be the same. But if you wanted that specific like style kind of to work through those important ones on your list. But for photographers, you want to know kind of what their packages are, and do they include engagement photos? Do they include rehearsal dinner coverage, the day after, all of that, just to kind of see
how long they shoot the day of.
How long they shoot is a big one. Yeah.
Which in my opinion, anything less than 8 hours, which most photographers around here don't, it's like 8 to 10. Anything less than 8 hours, like you're not going to get all the things
that you want, or you're compromising like hair and makeup, you know, getting ready photos or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could probably get away with 6 if you just did ceremony but then you're not getting any of the like fun moments with your family. So another big one is, do they have a second shooter or like a videographer with them, or like what's the package? In general, we always like to see a second shooter at almost all venues.
Especially like if you're doing like getting ready photos and then first look, it's like one can be with one side, the other can be with the other side. And then they can kind of be getting photos done at the same time. Yeah. Which is nice. And then even for ceremony, like they're getting the different angles.
Yes, like one's coming down the aisle, one's looking up the aisle, all of that. So that's super important. And then just like a personal preference for us, but like, is their photo style and like thinking about, first of all, knowing what your photo preference is, and also like hopefully thinking into the future, like you're going to have these photos for the rest of your life and show these to your kids and grandkids, and they'll be on your walls, like making sure that it's something that you think will be timeless and like looks the way that you want it to look. So there's a lot of clear, crisp, like true photos right now. There's a lot of blurry photos. We see a lot of like the yellow or orange kind of like oversaturated photos. So it's depending on what you like, knowing that everyone has a different style. And that's why we think photographers are important to book early, because sometimes you may only like 2 photographers in the valley.
And then they get booked up.
And then
fast.
They're both booked. So.
And that's like, when couples like are like, do you have recommendations on photographers? And like, well, of course. Like, but like yesterday again with the tour, I told the bride, I was like, but you need to figure out what your style is. Like, I can obviously send you like 3 great photographers, but like, I need to know like, what is your like vibe? Like,
totally.
Like, what style of photo you like. And so that's why it's like social media is so nice, because you can like go creep on their Instagram and like.
And it's so nice when you even just go to anyone's Instagram. I like with photographers to just screenshot like their actual grid, because it's so helpful to see like what their consistency of editing looks like. And if someone sends me like 3 or 4 photos off of Pinterest of like their style, I can like so easily batch that with a photographer's grid and be like, this looks pretty much the same as like what you're sending me.
And editing, that's a good thing too. I mean, just because every photographer like edits differently. So that's true.
Those are photographer hot tips.
Yes. And then DJ obviously is super important. Things like, you know, what is like, do you have setup fees for multiple setups? Like a lot of things around here, like ceremony and reception, are in different areas.
In cocktail hour.
In cocktail hours. So like, do they
setups.
Do they have enough equipment to set up in all 3? Like, is there a fee for all those setups? Do they, which most of them do, like wireless mics, lapels, like what options do they have? You know, and then time frame of like at the actual event, like how long are they there? Is there different pricing for that? And just also like, their MC abilities, like how, you know, asking like, how many weddings have you done? Like, are you comfortable talking on a mic? Like all those things are super important. And then a lot of them will include uplights, but some don't. Like, so just asking like, are those add-on fees, all that kind of stuff. And then Allie mentioned too, like some of them have dance floors, some of them don't. So like having those conversations.
Yeah. And I think even too, like a good question, like with the setup stuff, is a lot of them will have like 2 setups, but there is like lag time. So there's a company here that has 2 DJs at every wedding. And that's super amazing, because there's never a moment without music.
Yeah.
So like,
like if the ceremony's in one spot and they have to like walk and take their board, which sorry, DJs, I don't know what it's called.
We don't know what it's called.
They're over to the other spot. I mean, it's not a ton of time, but there is a lag time of like, they've got to unplug, plug, like.
Yeah. So just knowing that, like, are you going to be okay with 5 to 10? I mean, depending on where your ceremony, if it's really far away, 15 minutes of no music as people enter your like cocktail hour or things like that, talking through all the logistics. Also like power is a huge one. So we do a lot of non-venue weddings, and it's like, okay, if the house only has a certain amount of like amps that it can put out, like how are we getting power to DJs, especially when they have lighting and they have multiple setups? Are they bringing a generator?
Is it quiet?
Is it quiet enough to use during a ceremony? Things like that we want to ask
about. Yeah.
A lot of questions
for sure. And then catering obviously is another big one. And this, you know, sometimes you have to like also think of like the style of food. Like some caterers, like we've mentioned Horsewort a couple times, can basically do anything. So I think, you know, but there's some like Italian, there's some Mexican, like I think it's like figuring out style and maybe asking them like, what is your range? Do you have a draft menu like that we could review to kind of just look at some options that you often do? Serving options. Can they do buffet, family style, plated? Like what are they able to do?
And how much does it cost to like do plated
the
versus
amount of
buffet?
Yes. Because obviously with plated, you're going to need more servers. And so it's like, you know, if you're going to have 200 people, like one wedding, we have over 200 people and it's going to be 18 servers. So it's like, and then knowing like how much that costs per server and like all those things that come with it. And like this family it's super important to them to have everything come out in a timely manner. So that's also why we have so many servers, because they're like, we want everyone to try to get their food as close to the same time as possible. But just like talking through those fees, what is their ability? Like how many servers can they even have? Mm-hmm. Do they bus? For us, that's like a huge thing, like making sure they bus tables. Do they do water service? Is it included?
Do we have to bring the water?
Yeah. Do we need to provide the crafts to put on every table? Like, how does that look? Is there a tasting option? And then asking some caterers like if they do dessert, because some do, some don't. So just like, you know, it might be nice if you just want like a dessert buffet of just random things. Some of our caterers can do that. And it's like one less vendor you have to like book.
Totally. And this is one of the vendors that like you can go super expensive, like we've had Olive Garden weddings and they've been amazing. This is, when you definitely want to know going into it, what style of food and vibe you want for your own wedding. Yeah. And whether food's like super important to you or not. Mm-hmm. It's a good place to start.
For sure.
One of the next ones is hair and makeup. That's a tricky one for a lot of brides and couples because they like hair and makeup is very specific to you. Mm-hmm. And if you're someone, a lot of our brides, we consistently hear like, I don't wear a lot of makeup. Mm-hmm. I don't want to not look like myself on my wedding day. And those are all super valid concerns that you want to address with a makeup artist. Yeah. So I would ask for like pictures of work that like is low to no makeup look. Mm-hmm. And there is like a line because you are getting professional photos done. You do want to like make sure it lasts all day.
Right. And I tell couples too, like, I don't wear makeup like at all. So like I understand, and that's how it was with my wedding, but it's like to a certain extent, you also want it to look like you got your makeup done. Yeah. Because like if you, like I wouldn't show up to my wedding like this. Like I would want, like you want to also look like you got it done. Gosh, I don't know why that is scary. But also like, you know, Allie said, I get it. You don't want to look like a clown. You don't want to look like I told my makeup artist, I said, I don't want to walk out and my husband to be like, who are you? Like there is a balance for sure.
Totally. One of the big things that hair and makeup, well, first of all is can they do hair and makeup or are they just hair or just makeup? Mm-hmm. It doesn't really matter. You just need to know because you either are going to be hiring multiple artists or multiple companies to get both done, or do you only care about makeup and maybe you're doing your own hair? Your hairstylist that does your hair quarterly is coming. So there's a few different things about knowing that, but typically they're going to have a minimum and a maximum amount of services that they can do. The minimums are usually what we see more is like we have to have 3 to 5 people, like at least,
like
or
services,
say 6 services. So at least 3 hairs and 3 makeups or something like that to make it worth their time. Mm-hmm. A lot of artists around here work really well with each other. So if you're like, well, I have 12 bridesmaids and they all want services. So that's 24 services in, you know, like a 6 to 8 hour time frame. Then they'll hire like additional hair and makeup team members, freelancers,
or like recommend like one of the ones artists we love. She will be like, these are a list of gals I love to work with. And then we have to reach out to like,
so just know kind of what you need, what they want, how long it's going to take for each item to be done. Mm-hmm. This is why you do see some timelines starting at like 5 a.m. for
especially if you have 12.
A huge bridal party, because if you're doing a first look at 1 or 2 and to get everyone done, to get bridesmaids photos done, like you do have to start early. So making sure you know how long it's going to take them to get those services done. Do they have a travel fee? Some of these are like even local travel fees. So just knowing where you're getting your hair and makeup done and where you need them to be are kind of some of our
big
main
questions
we have for hair and makeup.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the last 2 we'll just talk about cake and bar really quick. So cake, just, you know, or bakers, just like, are they able to do anything outside of cakes? Like some of ours can do like cake pops or cookies or mini pies. Like just, again, it's going to be a style thing of like what you're wanting, but just kind of knowing what their options are. Can they do gluten-free? Can they do dairy-free? Like nut-free? Like what are the options as far as that goes? Again, is there a delivery fee for bringing the cake to your venue? And then will they a lot of times like ask if they'll put flowers and stuff on the cake? Because some are really particular and like they don't want the florist or anybody else to do it. Some are like, not my job.
I'm not going to do it. The florist has to do it. Also, do they do cake tastings?
Yeah.
Those are always, I think,
important. Which I always tell people, I'm like, just do it. Yeah. Like, might as well taste all the cakes.
Right. And then bar is a huge one. I think bar is probably, in general, one of the most important vendors that most of our couples book. So we have so many questions for bar. A lot of venues locally have specific bars that they can and cannot use. So that's a huge thing when you're interviewing venues, is to see if they have bar requirements or if they themselves are the bar. Liquor laws in every state are probably crazy, but in Idaho, it's getting stricter. So knowing, can they serve beer and wine only? So a lot of our bars here can only do beer, wine, and like quote unquote seltzers or canned alcohol. So they could do like a Moscow Mule in a can, but it isn't like hard liquor that they're mixing. Yeah. So knowing if they can do hard alcohol and if that's important to you would be another one. We always talk about like hosted or non-hosted bars. So hosted is when you, as the couple or your parents or whoever's paying for everything, pay for everyone's drinks all night. Are you going to host through happy hour or cocktail hour and then go to non-hosted? Are you hosting beer and wine and not paying for liquor? There's so many ways to do it, but it's good to have those conversations.
Are they able, like if you have like a set dollar amount, like some of our couples, like I only want to spend $5,000 on the bar. Like is there a bar? Because some bars are great at that. Some bar services aren't. Like having that conversation, like we only want to spend $5,000. Are we able to then at that point switch to cash bar? Is that okay? Like things
a lot
like
of them have setup fees. So knowing what their setup fees are, can they do signature drinks for you?
How many bartenders? Like, because a lot of ours too, we really recommend, well, depending on head count, but like if you have 180 plus, having 2 bartenders behind the bar and 2 bartenders passing at cocktail hour, because as soon as ceremony's done, we all know where everyone's going. Yeah. So like, are they able to do that? What does the fee look like for having 4 bartenders?
Can they do table wine service? Can they do champagne for toast? Like there's so many questions with bar. Again, it's going to matter if it's important to you or not. But also like another one is like glassware and cups. Like, are they providing cups? Like ice is another one who's providing ice.
Yeah. Things to think
There's
about.
so many questions with bars. So our favorite ones are pretty much all inclusive, and they're going to be able to do liquor, beer, wine, everything, and they pretty much bring all their own stuff. So there's definitely that option, but you also see a lot of the really a la carte options here. Another thing too, which is like a legality thing, but like who's providing the alcohol. There's so many things you can get into with bars. So
yeah,
lots of questions to ask.
Lots of things to think about. So yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, like we said, interview at least 3 vendors per area. I think it's just important to get pricing from people, do your research, ask all the questions, and obviously having a planner or coordinator is helpful in those areas because we know a lot of the questions to ask, or we know a lot of the things that have been forgotten that need to be asked. So I think that's always helpful. And I think if you have a coordinator or planner, like having them go to these meetings with you is helpful. A lot of times I'm not talking unless things are not like have been forgotten. I can't say that sentence. Or, just if the brides or grooms, like what they're trying to get across isn't getting there, and it's like there's miscommunication, like things like that. It's helpful to have a third party there. But I mean, that's just like, I think a big thing, like do your research, talk to a lot of people. It is overwhelming, but that's why, especially with us, we say, like Ali said, like vendor, photographer, DJ, like start there, like get those booked, and then like go caterer is really important, and then bar is really important. Like kind of just like don't try to interview all your vendors at once.
Yeah, we say like 2 to 3 max a month. And as long as you have time to plan. Yeah. Like give yourself the time so you're not overwhelmed. Yes. And you actually have time to like review what each vendor is saying. And then my final like wrap up on that is let your vendors know, A, when you want to work with them, and then B, when you don't.
Yes.
Do
Don't
not
just ghost them.
Ghost your vendors. Like, just let them know, hey, thanks so much. We've gone a different direction. That's all they need.
Yeah.
It's even better if you can give them a reason, like,
This is why we didn't book
yeah, this
you.
was a better price, or this included this package and we actually really wanted that. That's so helpful for us to learn from that. But definitely, like, make sure you communicate after you've reviewed their packages too.
Like, there's nothing more frustrating on the vendor side when it's like the couple just like won't respond to you. It's like, it doesn't hurt our feelings. Just say like, we're good. Because then like to us, it's like, especially in all the training and stuff that we've learned, it's like we have to follow up all these amount of times. Like, cause we never know, like, are you just busy?
Yeah.
And like, we're just, you know, we don't want to be forgotten, or you like have already booked somebody else. It's like, just say it. Just say like Ali said, thank you so much, but like we went a different route.
And it takes 20 seconds max for you to do that. So that's our hot tips for vendors.
Good luck.
Cheers.
Cheers.